Yeah. Hi, everyone. Do you know, I'm going to break the awkwardness by telling a joke, if that's okay. So, well, it's not really a joke. It's more like knock, knock.
Who's there?
Tank.
Tanko.
You're welcome. Tank, thank you. Okay, so I'm a beta. I'm a delivery manager at the Government Digital Service. I'd like to correct Dom on that one. And I'm going to talk about how we're using user research to improve our monitoring and alerting. So my team at GDS, Government Digital Service, I'm not going to say the whole thing every single time, is trying to solve a department-wide problem. So we've built an internal monitoring and alerting service, of course, using Prometheus. That's what we're here for. And we are doing this for GDS teams that are hosted on Cloud Foundry platform as a service. And we're using a multi-tenancy model, which means that they can see each other's metrics, alerts, and dashboards. And we currently have 3 teams using our service. So how might user research fit into this? Here's a blurry picture of us doing user research in a lab. This is where we talk to teams, we observe them using our service, and we do user research because it's a big part of GDS. It's part of our service standard, which is published on gov.uk. And we're trying to make our monitoring and alerting a little bit more self-service. So we've been doing some usability testing on our documentation. Here's a picture of our documentation, and this is where it's published. So we've already done some publishing on how developers can set up kind of their own metrics exposing their app level metrics using client libraries, and then also do it at container level as well, using the platform as a service metrics exporter. So that's what we've done. And we got some good feedback from a developer that set up metrics for his team using our documentation, which is great. But in the next few slides, we're going to focus on what we're doing at the moment and how we're testing this to make monitoring a little bit more self-service for our developers. So we have a goal in the team to of course, make the monitoring and the alerting part more self-service for developers. So we did particular research around this goal, and we spoke to 2 developers across 2 teams on how they might do that, and we found these top 3 findings. But the one I'm going to talk about is the first one, which is users struggling to find the relevant metrics to set up their alerts in the first place. So there was a whole question around metrics teams needed versus the metrics that were currently being scraped on their app. And then there was a whole question around users in teams being able to find these metrics in Prometheus once they got going. So we knew users might know what they want to measure, but they weren't actually sure what was actually being scraped. And we paired in a user research session with them and actually struggled to find this ourselves. Here's an example of one of the participants using the insert metric cursor drop-down. And they were trying to find the metrics to write for filling up their disk space. And they went through this list. This list is 600 plus metrics. And that's because most of them are Cloud Foundry metrics. And because of the node exporter, Cloud Foundry generates a lot of metrics. So they kept scrolling, trying to find it. It's there somewhere, but they missed it completely or just gave up entirely. From that session, we found that users don't actually care about Prometheus metrics or Alert Manager metrics. They just want the ones that are relevant for their team. And they found this list quite overwhelming. Here's another example of a developer wanting to find all of the metrics for his team. So he went onto his service/metrics page to try and get a list of all of them. And he came across this unauthorized error because it's protected by basic auth, and he didn't know his credentials to log in. Here's another example of a developer using the Prometheus exporter client libraries, which don't explicitly say which metrics are being exported in the README. So we thought maybe the underlying client library might have it, and we paired with them to try and find this ourselves, and we struggled. So what we're doing to solve this problem is we have now, as of last week, I think, I'm looking at my team, we've added an expression to our documentation so that users can find all the names of all of the metrics that belong to their platform as a service organization. So the query, there's an example of a query that might look like this. This is for one of our users, gov.uk notify. So they might run this query, and that will bring up, which we have tested, a list of 50 metrics that are only related to their team. So whereas I said 600 plus, they now have only got 50 that are only relevant to them. And we've also added this to our documentation so that other teams and other developers using our service, even though there's only 3 at the moment, might copy the same query for their service to try and pull the same metrics. And we've done the smallest thing to try and solve the problem for our users. We're going to continue testing it, getting feedback, and then iterate our process. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, bye. No, I'm joking. Yes.
Do you come up with some sort of naming conventions for your metrics when your clients adopt them?
Thank you. I feel like that's a tech lead question, and good thing that my tech lead is in the house.
For the moment, there's the existing Prometheus naming convention for all the Prometheus and Alert Manager metrics. The main problem, though, is it's not that the naming, there isn't a naming convention there, but the naming convention that is there isn't helping because they're just overwhelmed with the volume of metrics. I think that's the main issue we're finding.
There was another hand somewhere. Oh, hello.
I might have, thank you, it was a very interesting talk. I think I might have missed it, but are you saying that the drop-down is still got all of those details in it, and that you've given like a workaround for finding the relevant ones for them? Okay, so do you have, so by the sounds of it, you have like plans to like change the drop-down, do you, or is that like a different, I don't know.
Sorry.
As in,
Do we plan to change the drop down?
yeah. Oh, is that what you were just saying? Sorry. Or no?
I mean, we're still trying to work out what works. We found a problem that doesn't work, and we're now trying something, see if that works. Once we find something we've got confidence in, we might try and upstream something. But for the moment, we're just still exploring and observing.
I think it's great to see user research being applied to Prometheus. Do you have any plans to do more user research and what that might look like for Prometheus?
Yeah, we're doing lots of user research all the time. So we had a user research playback session this morning because we're trying to do some research around how teams debug. So it's a part of every team's process at GDS. So yeah, we're part of our kind of sprint cycle is making sure that actually as much as we have like development goals, we also have non-development goals, which is around research and engagement as well. So we're continually improving our service.
Quick question, is there a plan to feedback all that information to the community so we can improve the open source? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can, of course, like share the slides afterwards. I think we're going to do that. But future research, yeah, we can share it through the community. I don't see. I mean, we can take out names and stuff. But yeah, sure, we can try and do that through the community. Still have the question?
Okay, you gave a really great way of shortening the number of items. Is that available to all of us? Are we able to just put in that query and bang, we're just going to get our 50 specific? Okay, okay, that's great. And the stuff that you've shown all looks internal. What's the link?
I was joking. Okay, great. Sorry, I missed that joke. Any other questions? Still have that question? Okay, great. Could you just pass that? Thank you.
It's just sharing and the experience we got with the teams I work with. And it's namely, every alert should have a runbook, and then whoever has the alert has all the relevant information, not needing to go to here. So avoids that other hurdle. What do I need now to search? What do I need to do? Just every alert without runbook is essentially not valid. Shouldn't be valid. Shouldn't be page you at 2 a.m. or whatever. So that's just insight I have.
Coming. Please answer the question.
Sorry, I just wanted to, the scenario we're researching is developers writing an alert. And so they need to be able to do this in order to write the runbook. So, yeah, while I agree exactly with your principle, you know, at some point you need to find some metrics in order to write an alert and write the runbook.
There was less context on purpose because I was only meant to do a lightning talk, which is 5 minutes. Any other questions? Ooh, one more. Am I allowed one more? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, hi. You filtered and you managed like up to 50 metrics, right? But still, like, do you got any documentation for that matrix or something? Like which matrix is for which one or something like that? Like for CPU, say suppose we have many metrics, right? So can it like, you get any confirmed thing that like this metric works for this thing or something, some explanation thing or something?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I mean, other than the health test.
Yeah, because right now I'm also struggling with this one, so that's why.
Yeah, we don't have anything at the moment other than the help text that you get on the metrics endpoint that nothing consumes. But that's something we're also aware of that might be useful and something we might investigate in future, but don't have any answer for you right now.